What's up guys, Houndish here, and today we're jumping in with the weekly reset for the 11th of July in Destiny 2, and as always in this video, we're going to dive in and check out the Eververse refresh for the week, but also new objectives for the season, vendor inventories such as Banshee and ADA-1, as well as key rewards for the week, events and unlocks. And so, I hope this video is useful as always guys, and if you enjoy it, be sure to get subscribed for more D2 content. But without further delay, let's get into it. And so starting out, it's worth mentioning that the core quests have wrapped up for the season, but it is possible that we'll see the Wicked Implement Catalyst this week, which according to the collections does drop inside of deep dives, so certainly worth jumping in and checking those out just in case we can pick it up. But of course the main exotic quest remains available for any folks who still need to get the weapon. Otherwise though, for activity content and the Root of Nightmares, this week we get the All Hands Challenge. That's the one at Nezarec, and so the Korex's Distress Grenade Launcher is the featured weapon drop this week. As we get into the rest of the gameplay stuff for the week though, we should mention that the Iron Banner has returned for the final time in the season, so whatever you're working on related to Iron Banner, whether it's titles or picking up any of the featured rewards this time around, bear in mind that it won't come back for the remainder of this season, and so it's probably going to be a couple of months before we see the Iron Banner return. Heading over to Banshee though, and we'll take a look at the weapons he's got right here. So for the featured stuff on the front page, we've got the old Sterling Auto Rifle with rewind rounds and harmony. I always manage to say rewind rounds wrong. And then we've got Nezarec's Whisper, once again, with Demolitionist and Turnabout, as well as the combined action hand cannon, and this has got Zen Moment as well as Offhand Strike. Then we've got a couple of weapons from Season of Plunder right here, so the Sails by Pitch Glass, initially with Compulsive Reloader and Swashbuckler, but also Tarnished Metal right here with 4th times the Charm and Multi-Kill Clip. Keep in mind as always that these roles will change throughout the course of the week. Then for the second page, we've got the Crate Auto Rifle here with Compulsive Reloader and Focus Fury, then the Lunar Ladder 4B Combat Bow with Rangefinder and Headstone. Then we've got the Fugue 55 Sniper Rifle with Lead from Gold and Snapshot Sights, as well as the Galu RR3, and this one's got Shoot to Loot Snapshot Sights. Then we've got the Typhon Grenade Launcher with Unrelenting and Frenzy, and the Nazredin Sword here with Flash Counter and Surrounded. So give us your thoughts on any of the roles available at Banshee right now, but once again bear in mind, some of this inventory will change throughout the course of the week. Heading down to Shader 1 in the Annex though, for the featured stuff this week, we do have the Retrograde Armor right here. Of course we're on the Titan, but if you're looking to add any of this to collections, or if you're after stat rolls, there's nothing particularly stand out on the Titan, but be sure to check in on your various characters if you need to. And then for the featured shaders right here, of course costing 10,000 Glimmer each. Right now we've got the Vitrified Chronology shader, a pretty cool one right there. On top of that though, we've got the Echoes of Io, the worn version of the shader, which is a rather plain looking shader, I suppose. On top of that though, we have the War Cult Scheme, so if you want to add any of the older faction shaders to the collection, be sure to visit ADA-1 this week. Finally for the vendors though, here at the Eververse inventory for the week, we initially have the Down Under Dance. This one will cost 700 Bright Dust, of course a new legendary one for this season, so potentially getting a couple of new season items right here. We also have the Aim to Misbehave ornament for the Malfeasance. This will cost 1250 Bright Dust. Pretty cool sort of Takenified Malfeasance ornament right there. And then we have the Dreaming Shimmer Transmat effect, which is 450 Bright Dust. We'll take a quick preview of that one. There we go. On top of that though, we got the featured shaders on the front page, as always costing 300 Bright Dust, and initially there is the Reef Regalia shader right here, and then we also have the Tyrian Abyss, also 300 Bright Dust, if you want to add this to collections from back in Season of the Haunted. And onto the main Bright Dust page right here, we finally have an ornament, which is new for the season, an exotic right there for Monte Carlo, so I suppose we'll start here. And this is the Dreaming Clarity ornament, which will cost 1250 Bright Dust as always. Let's get a nice preview of it, actually a pretty cool one right there. So finally, a couple of new season items for Bright Dust right here, but for the other stuff, on the second page for Bright Dust, we initially have the Row Your Boat multiplayer emote. This one will cost 4,250 Bright Dust, but if you fancy a little bit of light sailing, I suppose it's not really sailing, but there you go, you can add it to collections. Quite pricey though. We also have the Fingerheart rare emote, which will cost 400 Bright Dust right there. Let's get a quick preview of that one as well. And then moving on, we've got the Pragmat shell, 2,850 Bright Dust. This one will cost from back in Season of the Lost. And then we've got the Asymmetric Force Exotic Sparrow, which is 2,500 Bright Dust. A rather interesting looking thing. Another one new for the season right there. And we have the ornament for spare rations, which is table scraps, and this will cost 700 bright dust. So if you're looking to add this to collections from back in the day, we can finally do so. And we also have the Altogether Now Ghost Projection, which will cost 1500 bright dust right there. And then moving on to the featured shaders on the second page, we have the Byzantium Lotus. Once again, all of the shaders will cost 300 bright dust. Additionally though, we've got Golden Age Wine. We'll have a quick look at that one as well. And then we've got the Wayfarer's Guise from back in Season of the Lost right here. One that I need to add to collections myself. Rather garish with this armor, if I do say so myself. On top of that though, we've got the Empirical Imperative shader from back in Season of the Seraph. So good time to add some of these to collections if you need to. And then we've got the Plesiohedral State Transmat effect. Wow, somehow I managed to say that correctly, I think. I'm sure you guys will correct me. I probably got it wrong once again. And then we've got the Champion Entrance Transmat effect here as well, which is a pretty funky looking one. And then the Unspun Fate Transmat effect, finally, another new one for the season, with a bit of Strand vibes going on right there. So give us your thoughts on the Eververse inventory this week. At least we do have some new season items available for Bright Dust. Now though, as we move on to the weekly Nightfall for the week, we're going to see the Corrupted Strike, and so the featured Nightfall weapon is the Hung Jury Scout Rifle. Of course, it's a precision frame kinetic scout, and looking at the main traits right here in the popular roles, in the first trait slot, we've got Rapid Hit, as well as Shoot to Loot, Surplus, Subsistence, Offhand Strike, and No Distractions. And those are in order of popularity according to LightGG, with the second trade slot seeing Kinetic Tremors as the most popular second slot bonus, and secondary to that we've got Firefly, and then Box Breathing, Frenzy, Adagio, and Gutshot Straight. So obviously Rapid Hit Kinetic Tremors is very popular. Obviously Rapid Hit Firefly would also be pretty good, and if you like things like Shoot to Loot, it is an option there. So let us know if you're still going after rolls on Hung Jury, or whether you've managed to pick up a great roll already. But very finally, for Lost Sectors featured this week, for today we've got Extraction, which is dropping exotic helmets. Then we'll get Aphelios Rest dropping exotic legs on July 12th. Chamber of Starlight for July 13th dropping exotic gauntlets. Then for the 14th of July, we have Bay of Drowned Wishes dropping chest pieces, which is followed by Vel's Labyrinth dropping helmets on July 15th. Exodus Garden 2A on July 16th dropping exotic legs. And finally for the 17th of July, we've got K1 Revelation dropping exotic gauntlets. And for today guys, that wraps up what we have to speak about in the vendor reset. So as always, I hope the video has been useful, and if it has, a rating below really does help us out on the channel. Also be sure to get subscribed and let us know down below if you're diving into Destiny 2 this week. But otherwise, I appreciate you tuning in as always, and whatever you get up to, I hope you guys have an awesome day.